I love my son, but not my wife. A married man battles with his wife in what seems like a hopeless marriage. Will this relationship end in divorce? Or will they work together to save their marriage? Find out in today's episode of Coach Ben's Case by Case.
My wife is crying upstairs, but it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm just realizing how mentally checked out of my marriage I am due to lack of sex. Not sure how to proceed with making the divorce smooth. I've been married for 10 years. One major issue is that our marriage has been sexless for quite a while now, with my wife refusing any intimacy. This lack of physical connection is taking a toll on our relationship. My birthday was recently, and my wife always goes all out for it. But honestly, it seems more for social media than for me. She usually plans activities she loves, but I don't like shopping and visiting craft stores. I've told her these things aren't fun for me. If I had my way, I'd spend the day with her and our son, maybe go to the zoo, have a nice dinner, and just relax at home.
All right, let's take a close look to see what's really going on here. We have a couple in their early to mid 30s. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a look. My wife is crying upstairs, but it doesn't bother me anymore. So it sounds like they're having problems right from the very beginning. That's not quite common in these case reviews. I'm just realizing how mentally checked out of my marriage I am due to lack of sex. Oh boy. Sex is paramount. I have to say that right off the bat. Without sex, there is no relationship. Think about it. If you have friends, you hang out together, you have fun, you don't have sex with your friends. I certainly hope not. You have your partner, there's a sexual intimacy connection there. It's sexually intimate. So that's what separates friends from, among many other things, obviously, from your partner and your future soulmate. So without sex, there is no union of the mind, body, or emotions, what I call the human spirit. So let's continue on. Not sure how to proceed with making the divorce smooth. So he's already thinking about divorce. Wow, this is really sudden. So let's see if he's going to participate in becoming, as I always promote, a problem solver and not a troublemaker. I've been married for 10 years. That's a long time. You guys should be perfectly synchronized by then in the best case scenario. But more, unfortunately, realistically speaking, for most couples, you're not quite synchronized yet. However, you should not be having this grave of an issue. But let's see if they are problem solvers. Let's see what the wife thinks, right? One major issue is that our marriage has been sexless for quite a while now. That's very bad. That's rock bottom. Let's see if we can get out of that. With my wife refusing any intimacy. Okay, so he's blaming his wife. Let's see if that holds water, okay? Let's see if it holds weight. This lack of physical connection is taking a toll on our relationship. Okay, I imagine for her too. So let's see. Once again, you have to remember, this is from his point of view, his perspective. So we're going to take it at face value. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but let's see if there's any clues to say otherwise. Sometimes there are, sometimes there aren't. My birthday was recently, and my wife always goes all out for it. Okay. Sounds like she likes to celebrate, but honestly, it seems more for social media than for me. Okay, so using you for her social media entertainment? That's pretty rock bottom, if that's true. She usually plans activities she loves, but I don't like shopping and visiting craft stores. Okay, so this is pretty selfish if that's true. Because there are toxic relationships out there, even marriages, where the spouse or the partner proposes doing something that they would like doing instead of the actual person's birthday, their partner or their spouse's birthday. It's really messed up. It's very selfish. I've seen this actually happen, and I've heard not so many times, but it happens out there where there's so much selfishness and narcissism where a person's, it could be a family member too. You give them a gift that you would want so that when you give them the gift, they say, no, I don't like this. I don't want it. And so the gift is for you. It makes no sense. whatsoever. It's extremely selfish. It shows no signs of love or care or consideration. Nothing. There's no honor in that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of greedy and selfish, narcissistic people out there, so what can I say? I've told her these things aren't fun or for me, of course. If I had my way, I'd spend the day with her and our son. Okay, so they have a child. Very important to know. They have a son. Maybe go to the zoo, have a nice dinner, and just relax at home. Okay, that's what he wants. He's not getting that for his birthday at the very least. So he says that his marriage is sexless. They've been together for 10 years. They have a son. Due to lack of sex, he's considering a divorce because he's already emotionally checked out, mentally checked out of his marriage. So things are pretty dire right off the bat. Now, let's see if things actually get worse.
I work long hours because, to be blunt, it's easier than coming home to a place where I don't feel wanted or intimate. The day before, I got home early, took a shower, and went to my man cave to relax. I fell asleep and didn't wake up until almost midnight. I checked my phone and saw a bunch of missed calls from my wife, which is unusual. I called her back, but she didn't answer, so I assumed she was asleep and went to make a sandwich. Suddenly, she burst into the kitchen, yelling and accusing me of lying about where I'd been. I explained that I came home early, took a shower, and accidentally fell asleep. She accused me of seeing someone else and said she hoped she was worth it, which shocked me. I asked her who she was referring to. She screamed that I shouldn't expect any intimacy on my birthday because of the stunt I pulled today.
Okay, so I work long hours because, to be blunt, it's easier than coming home to a place where I don't feel wanted or intimate. Okay, so he's working overtime on purpose. I've actually heard this before. Usually it's with the wife, but in this case, the husband. It could happen either or. Working extra hours and not coming home because you don't even want to see your spouse in a painting or a picture. You just have so much resentment, you don't even want to hear from them. The day before, I got home early, took a shower, and went to my man cave to relax. For those of you who don't know by now, a man cave is an entertainment center, usually for the man. It could include for the family too. I fell asleep and didn't wake up until almost midnight. I checked my phone and saw a bunch of missed calls from my wife, which is unusual. I called her back, but she didn't answer. So I assumed she was asleep and went to make a sandwich. Okay. So this is pretty bad because where's the wife? The wife is supposed to welcome the husband home, spend some time with both her husband and her son. It doesn't look like that's happening for whatever reason. We have to know if we can see maybe what the reason is. Suddenly, she burst into the kitchen, yelling and accusing me of lying about where I'd been. I explained that I came home early, took a shower, and accidentally fell asleep. She accused me of seeing someone else. Oh boy. And said she hoped she was worth it. Okay, so a lot of disrespect going on here, a lot of neglect, a lot of immaturity, jealousy. It's nothing but a negative list of emotions and a mindset with these attitudes, which shocked me. I asked her who she was referring to. She screamed, that's not good, that I shouldn't expect any intimacy on my birthday because of the stunt I pulled today. Well, she wasn't giving you any intimacy to begin with, so regardless, that doesn't mean anything. So my question is, are you trying to create a solution here, or are you just complaining about what is? Let's see if we need more information to ascertain how much effort is he actually putting into the relationship. Why is she behaving like this? Because I know some people just go completely psycho, off the rails, completely unhinged for whatever reason. Maybe they're fighting their own inner demons with their problems mentally and emotionally, PTSD, that sort of thing. But usually causality, things have an effect, right? So there has to be a cause to this effect. Let's see if we can find out why she's probably behaving this way, if there's any clues. But sometimes there aren't any clues, so don't be surprised. Okay.
I told her I don't expect nor want sex from her, especially since we haven't been intimate in 2 years. Of course, I am resentful of that. This made her burst out crying and she went upstairs and locked the door. I didn't follow her. I don't get why she's so upset or why she doesn't trust me. She rarely calls me at work and I've never given her a reason to doubt me. Is she feeling insecure because I've stopped trying to initiate intimacy? For context, I work 12 to 14-hour shifts, starting at 4 a.m., so I can be home for dinner, help my son with homework, play catch, and do other activities with him. I get 2 weeks off a year. I spend 1 week doing father-son activities and the other week making sure I don't miss his important events. My son never has to wonder if I love him. The man cave is an entertainment room for us to watch movies and play games together. My wife is always welcome there, but she seldom joins us.
Here we are, with the rabbit hole getting deeper and deeper. Now we have more information to work with. I told her I don't expect nor want sex from her. That's not good. That's not good. See, you're replying negatively to a negative situation. There has to be at least an effort. Especially since we haven't been intimate in 2 years. Okay, it's already done. I'm going to go ahead and call it. This relationship it's over. I don't even know if this is salvageable. A sexless relationship for 2 years straight. I mean, I can understand a handicap situation, but other than that, there's no excuse. You have two perfectly functioning human beings in a relationship together, supposedly for a whole lifetime. They already have a child. It looks like they're writing the love in permanent marker. And here you are with a sexless marriage for 2 years out of the 10 years. So technically you've only been with each other intimately for 8 years, which is not the 10 years that you would imagine. There's a lot of takeaways there. And how much time do you actually spend with each other? Let's find out. Of course I am resentful of that. This made her burst out crying. Okay, why is she crying? Are you going to go comfort her? Are you going to go talk to her? And she went upstairs and locked the door. I guess she's being evasive. It doesn't matter. Get behind that door. You have to play the role of a problem solver. Unless you tried so many times before and it always failed. I understand that. Maybe it's time to hang the hat and give up. I mean, 2 years. I imagine how long of this situation must have been going on, possibly for longer. Maybe sexless for 2 years, but problems all down the road since you guys first got together. Things don't just end up like this. It had to be something escalating, the snowball effect. It had to start somewhere, something getting worse and worse and worse. Maybe red flags that you guys didn't spot in the beginning of the relationship. That's why I go over what a perfect relationship looks like from the very beginning so that you don't have any problems in the future in my book and video course. I didn't follow her. I don't get why she's so upset or why she doesn't trust me. She rarely calls me at work, and I've never given her a reason to doubt me. Okay, well, that's you telling the story from your perspective. We don't know that for sure, but we're going to take it at face value. Is she feeling insecure because I've stopped trying to initiate intimacy? Probably. That's extremely important. If you stopped trying to be intimate with your partner 2 years straight, what do you expect? She's probably completely going psycho at this point. I'm not ruling in favor of the wife. I'm just saying, where are your efforts? How could you let this happen as a man? The man of the relationship should be just as intimate as the woman. And what happened with her? Without intimacy, there is no relationship, as I said before. There is none. You can pretend like there is. You guys can go ahead and play Hollywood theatrics all you want. But it doesn't mean it's real. You guys could be together 40 years, completely sexless. That's a failed relationship. Whenever the sexless status began is when the relationship is starting to fail. And I can't give you a certain time amount to how long it's going to take for it to ultimately hit the titanium dead-end brick wall, whatever you want to say. But it's already crashing. It's already going down in flames. For context, I work 12 to 14-hour shifts. Okay, that's a long time. That's the problem. You need to change jobs. I don't care. I mean, maybe she can get a job too. See, that's one of the main problems here. You don't have enough time to spend with your wife And it looks like you have time to spend with your son. Let's go ahead and take a closer look here. Starting at 4 a.m., that's extremely early, 4 a.m. I only hear of farmers waking up that early, but a lot of people will wake up that early. I was in the military. I understand. There are times you have to wake up that early. So that's a huge problem. For anybody out there working so many hours and waking up so early, you need to change that. That job is not for you if you're going to be in a lifelong relationship. If you're single, have at it. But you need to be responsible with your life. You have a family now. Make the adjustments necessary. Go find a different job. And I know that's easier said than done, but you have to make it happen, okay? And she has to get a job too if that's not possible. And you have to work less hours to compensate. It's a mutual effort, teamwork. This is this financial difficulty here, the situation is terrible. It's killing your relationship. It's already dying because of it. I can already tell. Horrific. Okay, so play catch, because so I can go home for dinner, help my son with his homework, play catch, and do other activities with him. Okay, so it seems like he's really active with his son. I get 2 weeks off a year. I spend 1 week doing father-son activities, and the other week making sure I don't miss his important events. What about the wife? Where's the wife in all this? That's a big mystery mark. It's just a question mark just begging to be answered. It begs the question. So the 2 weeks that you get off during the year working so many hours, it seems like you're just completely neglecting your wife for whatever reason. My son never has to wonder if I love him. The man cave is an entertainment room for us to watch movies and play games together. That's part of what being a father is about, yes, but what are you teaching your son with your behavior towards your wife? You're teaching him to be neglectful, right? To be passive, from what I can see. My wife is always welcome there, but she seldom joins us. Okay, why? You have to play detective, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. Why is she behaving this way? A sexless marriage for 2 years straight, after like a total of 10 years being together, and you have a son in the mix, and you're talking about divorce so easily from the very beginning of this case. And you have a son in the mix. That information. Once again, take this case at face value. I think both of them are culpable, especially with the child in the mix. Today is my birthday. My son and I are at the zoo. We had breakfast at our favorite cafe, and we're just enjoying the day together. This has been my best birthday in years. Okay, but where's the wife? Right? You have to make that effort. But if you already given up, you've given up. Nothing more I can say about that. To each their own. As for the divorce, I don't even know how to break it to her. That's pretty irresponsible. You should have a plan by now. It's been 2 years of this relationship in the gutter. You should have thought about that after the first year at the very least. I mean, if you're that lazy about it, you have to be responsible. As a husband, as a father. Because this is going to affect your child too, your son. That's your guys' son. She will be a mess. It will devastate her. Will it? Why will it devastate her? Because do you think she loves you? Because that's the only reason why she would be devastated, and you think it'll break her. What about you? What about the heart inside your chest? Will it devastate you? It doesn't seem like it. You're ready to divorce. You're ready to smash that button. The eject button, the eject handle. You're ready to just bail out on the marriage and on your son because he's going to be confused. You know, Daddy, what happened? Where's Mommy? Why do I have to visit Mommy now and visit you? And then the child support game. Was your marriage really a disaster to the beyond the point of no return? Was she really the one to blame for a sexless marriage when you say that, oh, should I approach her and try to get our intimacy back? Of course, you should have been doing that for the past 2 years in a sexless marriage. Where were you at, is my question. She has asked for us to go to marriage counseling. Okay, it looks like she has some initiative. That's the only evidence I see here. You're not talking about marriage counseling, but I am just not interested in trying anymore. Regardless, if you're not interested in trying anymore, because if you guys have an interest, If you guys have a history of going to seek marriage counseling and it didn't work, you didn't mention that. You're just saying that you're tired of trying anymore. Trying anything? Is that what you mean? Because once you're done trying, it's over. And if she's going to lock herself in her room, I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter how many times you go right behind that door and talk to her through the door until she opens up. If she doesn't open up the door, at least you tried. But in a sexless marriage for 2 years straight, I think you dropped the ball as a man. Because, number one, why did the marriage go so south? You have 10 years being together. Why were the last 2 years sexless? Who's at fault here? It sounds like both of you. But this is from your perspective, so I can't really blame the wife too much, but maybe she is part of the blame. Why is she being so evasive? Because that's also not being a problem solver. That's being a troublemaker. You're making a bad situation worse. So why is she behaving that way? And why are you willing to give up so easily? Because 2 years, let me tell you something. 2 years sexless, that's horrible. That's horrific. But why didn't you divorce after the first year? What kept you inside the marriage is my question. Did you do it for your son? Because now you're willing to bail out right now. What's the difference between 2 years or 1 year? That's my question. So there's quite a bit missing in this case. But if I had to make a judgment call, both of them are at fault because they have a son. That's a huge responsibility. That doesn't mean, however, that they have to remain together just because they have a child. No. If the marriage is broken, it's broken, and get that divorce and stop playing these mental and emotional games with each other because it's going to affect the son and you guys, your mental and emotional health. So yes, if it's really over, it's over. I have no problem with that. But my question is, how can you live in a sexless marriage if it has nothing to do with some physical problem that you're going through, yada yada? If you guys are just choosing to have mentally and emotionally a sexless marriage for 2 years straight, that's a huge no-no. Okay? That doesn't go. That's not love at all, is what I'm saying. So I haven't seen any proof of love here other than she is still willing to go to marriage counseling. Okay, it doesn't matter how many times it takes. Go to the marriage counseling. Do it one more time at least. Don't say I'm tired of trying anymore. Because now you're a quitter. You're quitting on yourself, your potential future happiness with your wife, because maybe she will change. Because I'll tell you what, her saying, accusing you of potentially cheating on her, that's because she's miserable. You shouldn't pay any attention to that. Even if she insults you or whatever, focus on the problem. So maybe you're the problem, maybe she's the problem, maybe you guys are both the problem. There's not too much information to go by. But what I see here, the biggest problem here is that the son's going to end up suffering one way or another. Because his parents just can't get along or can't get a divorce in time. So either end it for the sake of yourselves and your son, or make it work. It's your decision. As is the case with any marital situation or couple situation in general. So let's go ahead and proceed here. The fate of any relationship always depends on both partners. If one or both partners is not willing to give maximum effort till the very end in order to make the relationship work, then ultimately they never truly loved each other. When one or both give up, it's all over. So it looks like this man, the husband, has given up. That's his right. That's his choice. I can respect that. But what I don't respect is a sexless marriage for 2 years straight. Where were you? Where was your wife? How did that happen? How could that happen? Why didn't you change your job to a job where you don't have to work so many hours? Why wasn't she working a part-time job if she was capable? Where are the solutions? Don't let a bad situation get worse. That is the moral of this case. Don't allow bad situations to get worse. And I'm going to leave it right there. That's how simple this case is to judge in the very end, because without all the extra details, that's the main problem. They both dropped the ball And now they're both going to have to pay for it. They're going to have to go through heartbreak and misery. Hopefully they find a real soulmate down the road. And their son's going to be understanding and grow up to be a responsible human being. You'll be in your son's life, which I clearly see you enjoy doing, which is great. And his mother will also be a part of your son's life. And with that, this has been Coach Ben's Case by Case. Much love, everybody.